Are we building tools to empower humans, or are we training students to actually become replaceable ultimately? Are we building things that are going to replace us?
AI can be a guidance but not an end product for us. You have this problem, you have to follow this step 1, step 2, step 3 as a solutions. There's not enough of critical thinking that's injected to the students. Grade is just to measures of what you know today. It doesn't measure what you will know in the future.
Welcome to another episode of Life Confessions, and yet again another amazing guest joins us. With me today is Dr. Phang Swee, who is Program Director of the Bachelor of Mechatronics Engineering with Honours, School of Engineering, Faculty of Innovation and Technology from Taylor's University. And just having said that, we are looking forward to finding out more about what you have to say about students and the field in general. How are you feeling today? Are you ready for this?
Yeah, definitely ready
I'm
for
sure you
this.
talk about this all the time, right?
Yes.
Let's start with how you've chosen a field where the pace of innovation is relentless, right? What first sparked your passion for robotics and smart technology? Was it like curiosity, necessity, or something else? What began this journey for you?
Since young, I love to build things and take things apart. This sounds contradicting.
Yeah.
But one toys that fit this is the Lego.
Right.
So I had a lot of Lego toys, and especially I like the Technic sets where they have joints, and some of the Technic sets even have motors that can control the movements. So they
Right.
build up different cars or different tractors or even different robotics arm and so on.
You can trace it all the way back to that moment.
Yes, I believe so, because I still keep all the Legos that I had since
Wow.
young. And I think most of time is about curiosities. I love to take things apart, especially. I had some old TVs and old radios at home.
Right.
That I took apart as in a primary school, just using a screwdrivers.
How do your parents feel about this?
They are okay with that, because
right.
I actually seek their permission. I say, can I take this apart? I want to see what happens inside. I will see how come when I turn the dial, the things, the needles can turn as
Right.
well. And there's one particular incident that I remember for life is that I used to cut off all the components from the radios.
Right.
And there was this cylindrical shaped capacitors.
Okay.
And as I hold it, I got an electric shock from that. And since then, I was so afraid of cylindricals capacitors until today.
Until today.
Whenever I see cylindrical capacitors, I will use the tweezers to actually pick it up. I will not use my hand anymore.
Wow. And yet you still do what you do in spite of that.
That is something small.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so as I proceed to university, I noticed that this is essentially in the field of engineering that really into this. And what's more is about robotics, because like building things that can move, that can control the joint movements, that has some electronics on it. It's about robotics, so that is why I'm currently in the robotics field.
That's very exciting, because when someone hears that this is what you do for a living, I'm sure when people find out for the first time, they've got so many questions to ask you as well. Like random people will upon finding out that you do what you do. Do you find that people take an interest in what you do?
Yeah, because I can trace back to the undergraduate studies, where when I'm doing my final year projects, I have a choice of choosing a few different projects. So some of the projects like simulations, you get some energies. By the way, I'm from electrical engineering as my undergraduates. So there's some energies kind of projects where you need to measure the energy and then find out some way to optimize it.
Yeah.
And there is this project that you build a drone and you fly a drone. That's something like playing a Lego to me.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm having fun while working on my degrees.
Right.
So that is why I go into that. And since then, I can't stop myself from working on robotics projects. Yeah.
Even hearing the way you speak about it now, there's still so much excitement in
It's so
your
much
voice
fun.
when you
Yeah.
speak about it, right?
Yes.
It's like you get to play with adult Legos now.
Yes, correct.
The ultimate, yeah.
And not just to build drones that time. That time we are taking part in some competitions, and the drones need to follow the lines on the ground.
There's like a grid, is it?
That's like it's not a grid, but just a pathway, like a track on the
Okay,
ground.
all right.
And the drones has to fly according to the track at a different height. So at different
okay.
portion of the track, it fly different height. So that's very fun.
Wow.
Yep.
That's so like an obstacle course for
Yes,
drones,
correct,
right?
Yep.
So at Taylor's, you're helping students build future-ready skills through robotics and drone technology, right? What does future-ready mean to you, and how do you measure it in your classroom?
I always believe that the only thing that doesn't change in this world is the change itself.
Okay.
Yeah, so being future ready means that we need to be really able to adapt to new changes. So there is a, in internet, there is a memes that say what you learn in class, 1 + 1 = 2.
Right.
And what questions come up in the exam is a calculus questions. so that is something that is, I would say, quite true.
Right.
Because that is where we want students to think outside of what they normally do, right? Like we train students to provide some solutions to some problems,
Right.
but we do not expect students to solve that exact problem in their life.
Right.
Because that problem is solved. That's why we got the solutions for it.
Right.
But we want students to think of how actually we come up with that solutions. Can they tweak that solution to solve another problems that's not being faced, that's not being solved in the world currently? So that is why a lot of times students will think, oh, why the questions in the exams is so different from what I learned from the textbook.
Right.
Because what you learn from the textbook is you will not need to solve it anymore.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
giving them the skills to while solve what they can in the classroom, to be able to solve things that they haven't even actually
Correct.
been experienced at, things they can't even imagine yet at that point.
So to me, it's the process of solving is the more important than the result itself.
Right.
They can, a lot of people can fail the first time when they solve certain thing, but it's the thought process where like what sort of solutions you should use, what sort of modifications you should make to the solutions in order that you think this is the best way to solve these problems. That is what is more crucial.
Right.
If you have that mentality, I think is considered as future ready.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about the future of education and emerging tech, because things are moving so fast, right? AI is advancing faster than our ability to even regulate or even understand it. Are we building tools to empower humans, or are we training students to actually become replaceable ultimately? Are we building things that are going to replace us?
Definitely, we are building tools that empowered us.
Yeah.
For now, because we look at AI as something very new that everyone is kind of like afraid of AI because they say, oh, everyone will get replaced by AI.
Yeah.
Almost everything, if you think about it, they say AI have something to do with it. But if you look back at, let's say, 40 or 50 years ago, there wasn't computers, there wasn't calculators. And at that time, there are some big tech companies in the world like NASA. They actually have job descriptions to hire people to do calculations. So let's say they have to develop the probes that fly around moons and come back to the Earth. So they have human calculators that calculate every instances, like what are the gravitational field, what are the velocities and all. And since
Like human computers almost.
they are the human
Yeah.
calculators, their basic job is just to do calculations.
Right.
And since then, since the introductions of computers, simulations and calculators, these are being replaced by computers because computers can do it faster, more accurate, and lower cost in the long run. So are we saying that these people, the human calculators, are being replaced by the technologies? In some sense, yes. But in some sense, it actually opens up the opportunities for us to look for some others more critical jobs or more advanced jobs so that the whole, the technologies can proceed forward in some way. So instead of being able to become like a calculator to do calculations, why not you start to design something that can help in your work?
Right. So the idea is that as some jobs become obsolete, new jobs are created.
Correct.
That's the ideal situation. But there's this growing fear among some people that AI will make most jobs, including engineering and programming roles, obsolete. When people say things like this and fear this, how real is that fear? And are we being honest enough with students about this, that there will always be this job for them?
All right. In my opinions, the AI or automations is going to somewhat replace job that is repetitive, job that requires us to follow, step by step, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then if A happens, then I do 1, 2, 3. If B happens, I do 4, 5, 6. That
Right.
could be easily replaced by machines.
Yeah.
That is really true. But my opinion is that we should not be focusing on doing this job. Because our brain is what AI cannot really replace. We should be focusing on critical thinking to think of new type of solutions to solve any new problem that exists, probably because of AI or maybe because of other things.
Like creativity.
Yes, creativities and innovations is the part that I would say AI cannot compete with humans currently.
Right. One of the things that we've learned a lot about in the news actually is how some higher institutions have actually noticed that many students have become dependent on ChatGPT, perhaps, or similarly AI-powered applications to cheat in exams and in assignments, right? Should we be worried that students are becoming overly dependent on technology, losing the ability to think critically, solve problems creatively, or even that fear of failing now because they've got this other option to them? How real is this threat?
We do see examples of students that produce a whole report or whole thesis through AI. And I think this is to solve this is down to the we have to set a clear rules or regulations in AI ethics.
Right.
Just like I remember back in my secondary school when we do some projects, and they keep telling us, or even in university, they keep telling us, you cannot cite Wikipedia because Wikipedia is the sources is unknown. It can be written by anyone. The source is not proven.
Yeah.
So I would say that the same things we have to apply to AI as well.
Right.
You cannot just ask AI to produce a piece of work where the sources are unknown to you.
Right.
So AI could help you to kind of like giving you an ideas on how should you write a better report. Like section A, you should write introduction. Section B, you should write methodologies and what sort of things that you should include in introductions. But we should not let AI to write it for us.
Right.
Yeah, so AI can be a guidance, but not an end product for us. So
Right.
this is something we call the AI ethics that we need to inject into students' mind to let them know that they can use AI. We cannot inject fear to them that say, oh, the moment you use AI, you will fail your assignment. No, we tell them you can use AI. You should use AI to improve your assignment, but you should not just copy any so-called facts that is written by the AI.
Right.
Yeah, you should fact check them.
Right. Are there already countermeasures in place to be able to identify if something has been, or if a report has used AI to actually be created or generated?
We have one software, it's called Turnitin.
Okay.
Yeah, that software was used previously before AI to identify how many % of matching between two reports.
Right.
So it's kind of like catching students copying reports directly.
Right.
And currently in the new features in Turnitin is still experimental features. They also have the AI similarity reports.
Right.
So they can tells you it's still in experimentals, so they can roughly tell you like which paragraph or which sections are actually written by AI itself. Yeah, so that is something that we can't use it to make a conclusion saying that this report is made by AI, but but we can actually get some insight from it that probably this is by AI.
Yeah.
And then we can talk to the students to ask them, the best way to check whether students really do that work is that to ask them to explain what they do.
Right.
Yeah, if they fully written by AI, they can't explain it.
The own work that they have produced.
Correct.
Right. Let's talk a little bit, Dr. Phang, about Malaysia's role in the global tech race. Right. What seems to be holding us back from producing more local inventors, builders, and thinkers? In your opinion, is it curriculum, culture, confidence? What is it? It seems like we've got all this potential, but we don't seem to see as many Malaysians making a mark.
I would say this is mainly down to confidence. Like there is a very fine line between smart solutions and a lazy solutions. So let's say you solving a problems, you find a shortcut way to solve a problems. You solve it much faster than what other people have done, not following the conventional methods.
Right.
A lot of people will think that, oh, this is actually, I'm being lazy.
Oh,
So
okay.
I found a shortcut way. Shortcut is not good. So I stay quiet. But to inventors, this is actually a smart solutions. You have invented a new way of solving something that's more efficient than the previous way. So I think the confidence in them is very important, that they must be confident in their solutions, in their own thinking, the thought process, that this is actually a more preferred way coming forwards. All right, the old way is a traditional way. We should now looking at this way. So since small, I think since young, maybe perhaps in primary school, we should already inject this sort of confidence to our students. One thing about the education system is that the student is always only receiving. Right, the teachers is there teaching the students, and the student only listening. And then teacher will always say, okay, you have this problem, you have to follow this step 1, step 2, step 3 as the solutions. There's not enough of critical thinking that's injected to the students. Yeah. So
do they only learn this? They seem to be learning more of this critical thinking once they reach tertiary level education.
Only when they reach tertiary education, which I personally think that is a bit too late for them, because some of them, they already very used to say that when I met a problem, I have to follow this step 1, step 2, step 3 to solve it. So there will be a lacking of creativity and innovation in that sense.
Right.
Already.
So it would help, in your opinion, what would help make that more, like that transition better? Is it a root issue? Like maybe we could teach children more of this critical thinking or critical exercises at a younger age, even from, I don't know, pre-primary school? How early do kids need to be exposed to this?
I would think that as early as primary school.
Right.
So one very good way to let them think off the box is actually to bring them to visit the industry, the actual industry. Because the problems faced by the industry is really different from the textbook problems.
Right.
Textbook problem is the example problems, is the ideal type of problems that you can follow certain steps and you will achieve the solutions. But what faced in the industry, there's a lot of real world constraints that can really spur up the critical thinkings and the thought process of the students.
Right.
That when they want to solve this, there's a constraints on financials. Solve that, there's constraint on regulations. So they have to find smart solutions now.
Right.
And that is where innovations comes out.
And speaking of real world, there is a reality, of course, that many parents still push students towards what would be considered safe degrees in medicine, in law. What would you say to those who still see engineering, robotics, or tech as too risky a field to choose?
Actually, we should say it the opposite way. Because now, why is it a lot of field is not safe now? Because we are saying that because automations, robotics, AI is going to replace their job. So actually being in automations, robotics and AI is the safest path. Because you are the one that lead the change. You are not the one that is going to be changed.
You're in the field.
You're in the field to lead the change. You're defining the future.
Do you find that this is an issue that does come up sometimes when students are enrolling? They ask questions that relate to choosing this and they worry about their options?
We constantly get these questions from students and also parents. One of the popular questions will say, after 4 years of doing engineering at Taylor's, will this field still be relevant? So at Taylor's universities, we try to be as relevant as possible in the sense that every year or every 2 years, we are going to revise our syllabus to include more advanced technologies into our syllabus. Like, for example, any students that comes in this year, 2025, they are going to learn about AI. They are going to learn about Python's programming, which wasn't in the previous syllabus, because nowadays, I think AI and Python programming is the way to go. Previously, they learned about C programming, C++ programming, which is kind of like
I know that I knew about C+ programming language, but I didn't know about Python because, of course, I come from I left college a long time ago.
Now the new programs, like the programmers that come out, most of them, they'll just use Python to do programming.
Right.
Even in robotics, when we code something for the robots, we use Python as well.
My eyes are being opened even more the more I speak to you now. The pressure to chase innovation sometimes leads to shallow learning, where students end up coding for grades, not real world solutions, right? How do we bring meaning back into tech education, not just the grunt work, but to make it feel like they're contributing to society, bring meaning back? How?
Like I mentioned earlier, one way is that the students must really work with the industries. It's not no longer solving a project, no longer doing an assignment that is solely can be solved in the university itself. Because at old days, university assignments are all from the thoughts of the lecturers who design it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of this lacking of a lot of real world constraints. So at Taylor's University, we have this initiative called Impact Labs that we have started up, I think 2 or 3 years ago, where we ensure that every student, not just from engineering, not just from tech program, but every student at Taylor University, they need to participate in some projects that's related directly to the society. So the students no longer, sitting at the back end, working on some solutions, and then the lecturer talk to the industry partners. But now students are at the front end. Talk directly with our like beneficiaries, the publics, or some of our industry partners, understand their problems, and some of them even work together with the industry partners at their office to solve certain problems. And that has embedded in our curriculums, meaning that in order for students to graduate, they must do one of these projects, and they will be graded for these projects. So that is where students get a first exposure, if they didn't get any exposures in secondary school, to the industry. That's their first exposure to industry, and that is where they can really understand what are the real world constraints. That is very different from what they study from textbook.
So they get to see it in real life.
Correct.
What they're studying and how it can apply to an actual company and to actual people.
Yes, correct.
There is still this sense, right, that people feel and see that engineering and robotics is a male-dominated field. Have you seen this play out in your own classrooms? And how do you create space for more diversity if this is the case?
Statistically speaking, if you look at all the engineering statistics, I would say this is a true phenomenon. And but recently we see a rising trend, although it's still male dominance, but we see a rising trend of female students in our engineering courses. And in fact, the last graduation that just happened last month, our valedictorians are actually a female students from engineering. So it shows that engineering field is not designed to be more suitable for male students, but actually is also suitable for everyone. So a lot of misconceptions about engineers, but probably not the misconceptions 30, 40 years ago, where engineers' work are usually like the sweat and tears work. They'll need to stand under the hot sun, and then doing all the thing, you'll be like black, it is tan and all. But nowadays, you see a lot of engineers' work are actually in the office, in front of the computers to do some designing, including some developments of products. So it's not necessary that you will be outside in the field for engineering. So there should be more and more female students that will realize this and then coming in as an engineers.
And you say you see a rising trend.
Yes, we see a rising trend in that, especially in the new intake.
And do you find that when it comes to making that decision for when a female student decides to join, are parents a part of the factor as well? Do parents feel that they are not suited for it? Sometimes a student may feel that they are suited for something, but they have to fight the tide of parental opinion to choose what they want.
My opinion is that for local students in Malaysia, I do not really see these trends. Usually when we have open days where students and parents that come to us and then seek clarification on some causes, for local Malaysians are mostly student is the one that really will talk to us, tell us about their interests, and then ask us to recommend some of the programs to them. And then their parents are mostly there to be like giving confirmations to the students, say, this is a very good field. And probably the parents will be more worried about the future job careers for that particular field. They will ask, also, if I join mechatronics engineering, what is the future careers like? Can they be engineers? Can they be robotics? Can they be designers?
So that's where you need to set them at ease and let them know that there is a future.
Correct.
There's also still this stigma, around vocational or skilled-based education. Work that requires us to use our hands, to work with our hands. Yet many of your students graduate with highly technical, job-ready skills. Should we redefine what academic success actually means?
In a broad trend, yes. And at Taylor's, we already stepped out our first steps like I mentioned to you, our impact lab, it does not just define the academic success as, you score 100 for your written exams
Right.
in your courses. You also need to do projects. In fact, in engineering at Taylor University, we adopt this project-based learning, where every year students have to undergo one major projects.
Right.
And because of the impact labs, we have to ensure that these projects actually has a direct link to the publics or beneficiaries or industry partners, where the students' work can be directly utilized by them.
Right.
And directly make an impact in the society.
Right.
So that is a criteria that we put in. So most of our projects currently for engineering, we are usually industry linked. We have a lot of industry partners that approach us, that tell us what are the problems that they face in their factories or in their productions, and they do not have resources to actually solve this problem, and they wanted our students to help.
Oh, right. So that means you already find out what are the issues that are happening in the workplace, and therefore you can train students to be ready to deal with that's already existing out in the real world.
Yes, correct. And we also have one program that we call the Euphoria program. It's called Engineering Undergraduates Adoptions for Industry, or for Industry Adoptions, where students are actually going to work on their final year projects. Means on year 4, their final year project, they're going to work together with our industry partners. And we allow the students to work full times in the office with the industry partners, because on year 4, in the final years, students will only be working on the projects.
Right.
So
It's almost like they started working.
yeah, it's almost like they started working as the students.
Yes.
So they help the industry partners to solve their problems. And then it turns out that a lot of these students who enroll in this program, these are special programs, students need to enroll on it, ends up working with the industry partners after their
Right.
graduations. Yep.
How does a student qualify for the Euphoria program?
First, the student need to express their interest to say that they are very interested to work with industry partners for their final projects. And second, after they enroll into it, we have to also seek different industry partners. We have a few of them that sign MOU or MOA with us, and they will be giving us their problems, and then we will ask students to choose which one they would like to solve. And then the final matching will be the industry partners will have an interview with the student as well.
Right.
Because it's a 1-year process. It's a
Like a job interview.
Yes, it's like a job interview. So, but most of the time they are okay with all the students, because they know that students will use that opportunity as a learning as well as working.
It's very exciting.
So when everything matches up, then the students will work on that. And because of the contract or the MOU or MOA we sign with industry partners, they cannot kick the students out halfway, because that will make problems for the students, because students cannot complete the projects and therefore cannot graduate.
There's a commitment on both sides.
Yeah, there's a commitment on both sides. Students cannot quit halfway as well.
Absolutely. So it teaches you a real life skill as well, because
Correct.
once you've committed to something,
And
you need to see
negotiation
it to the end.
Yep.
Right. What's your advice for students who are entering a field that like this that may look completely different in just 5 years? We don't know what it's going to look like because it's constantly changing, right? How do they stay relevant without burning out? What are the steps taken to help the students?
One way is really, I think I mentioned earlier as well, we have to reduce like textbook teachings. Yeah, we have to like create more critical thinking on students. Thought process is more important than the final results. Adaptability, as I mentioned earlier, is also very important, so that students are actually learning how to learn instead of learning to solve certain problems.
Right.
Yeah. So in that sense, when they come out after 4 or 5 years, and in the industry after 4 or 5 years, when new problems comes in or new technologies come in, they can adapt to that technology easily, because they can apply the same learning process to learn that technologies. So students need not to have another lecturers in front of them, not student anymore, the graduates need not to have another lecturer in front of them to teach them how to do this, but they can just search from YouTube, from internet resources, from the data sheets, and they can figure out how to make the new technology works.
Right.
Yep.
What's some of the feedback that you get from students who are going through the course? Like, I'm sure because you engage with them, right? What's some of the feedback that you hear from students? What do they enjoy most?
Most of the students actually enjoy being able to interact with our industry partners because one reason is that they think that it's easier, and it's, in fact it's true, it's easier for them to get into the industry work careers later.
Right.
And second, they think that they feel a value on their on their work, on their projects.
Right.
Otherwise, if they just work on some research project in the universities where they can't see where it will go.
Right.
So it's sometimes confuse them. It's like, why do I do this? Because it's after I do it, then my prototype put in the lab, that's it.
Yeah.
But now the students can see that, oh, they are actually using the app that I developed to make their life easier. So this is where students actually love it.
Yeah, because they get to see the results and how it
Correct.
works. When a student chooses this course of study, if you are speaking to a student who's just begun, what would you want to prepare them for? Like, what's the most challenging thing they should be ready for as they embark on this course of study?
It's the mindset. They must always accept changes. A lot of people, not just students, I see even myself included, we're sometimes afraid of changes. You know, like when we see tariff change in our bill,
Yeah.
the first thing we will say is, oh, it's going to make our life harder. But if you look at it carefully, it's better for us.
The long run.
Yeah, in the long run. So sometimes we should not reject some changes, without actually investigating what is the effect of it. So students must be ready to change. That is the most important one.
And be prepared for that.
Yes.
And in order to prepare them better, if you had the power to redesign Malaysia's STEM curriculum from scratch, let's say you could change it, what's one thing you'd throw out and what would you add immediately?
Throw out.
Yeah.
I would not say throw out completely.
Okay.
But reduce hours, which is on the, I would say, face-to-face contact hours. Like teachers teaching students. I feel that it's no longer needed that long hours of, in Malaysia's, I think it's like 7 to 1 p.m. No longer needed that long hour of contact hours. They should reserve some hours for students to do self-reflections as well.
Right.
Yeah, and also we have to include add-ins, visitations to the actual industries. Yeah, that is where students really understand how the world works. It's not just from the textbook. Not just from their teachers.
Right. To get them involved outside of the classroom, to real exposure to how the world really works as soon as possible.
Yes, to experience, the atmosphere at a different workplace. Yeah.
Right. Well, very insightful. Let's go to the rapid fire questions now. So this is where we ask you a question and you answer what comes to mind right now. Your opinions might change after this. Your opinions might change. But for now, this is what you're thinking.
Okay.
All right? Okay, let's start with the first one. AI assistant in the classroom, helpful or harmful?
Is definitely helpful.
Okay.
But again, we need to define a set of rules, AI ethics to the students,
Alright.
so that they do not misuse it.
Okay. Grades or grit? Which is more important?
Grit. Grade is just grade is just to measures of what you know today. At today's one, it doesn't measure what you will know in the futures. But grit is what really push you, perseverance and or push you in your life.
It can drive you forward and motivate you.
Correct.
Okay. When it comes to coding or critical thinking, which you think is a more important skill?
Critical thinking. In my opinions, I hope I don't offend any coders. Coding is mostly syntax. But what's more important in coding is actually the algorithms of what you are going to code on to realize some apps or realize some things. So the algorithms is where critical thinking is very important, because you need to find a more optimal way to develop this algorithm. For example, can I sort some numbers with less time than the current algorithms? Yeah.
Right. What do you think is the most underrated engineering skill that no one teaches?
Debugging.
Debugging.
Yep. You see, you don't understand that,
No.
right? Debugging, because like we always say, engineering skill, you need hands-on solderings and all. But actually, on on programmings, one very important thing is debugging, because no one will get the programs right the first time, not even the first 100 times. Trust me. So debugging is like a long process of you rectifying your errors, finding out which part of the codes has that tiny error that you might not really realize at all.
It's like fixing the minutia, like the smaller. Once you've built whatever that you're building, it's then fine-tuning
it, and it really needs you to be patient and perseverance. Yeah.
Okay. Debugging, got it.
Yeah, debugging.
Is automation a threat or a tool?
Oh, definitely a tool. And we need to set our mentalities right. Definitely, it's threat for some people who are unwilling to change. If their work is going to get replaced, they have repetitive work, they have work that follow a fixed rules base, they're going to get replaced by automations. So they need to be adapt to the new changes.
Right, because it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah.
Smart cities, exciting innovation or a dystopian nightmare?
This one is both.
Okay.
This one is both. It is exciting in the sense that it's going to make our life much easier, much better. We have, even before you reach your homes, your air cons at homes already cool down the temperatures for you, especially at hot days nowadays.
Yeah.
But a lot of things that we need to go through. One is on the regulations. One thing is on the privacy. Yes, because when we talk about smart cities, meaning that we need to install a lot of sensors around to enable that, and a lot of sensors are intrusive.
Yeah.
So that must be an area. The more automations you go, the more intrusive it becomes.
Yeah.
So you must balance it in some way.
Yeah. How much of our privacy are we going to lose? How much of our personalities do we give up, and our identity, in a sense?
Yes, correct.
To live
how much
communally that way.
You give out your privacy for comfortness.
Yes.
Yeah.
To multiple corporations that will be responsible with them.
Yeah.
Like, as much as we set regulations for the users, we need to set regulations for the providers and the corporations as well, right?
Yes, and that actually leads to the second point of why is it a nightmare as well, is on the safety.
Yeah.
Like autonomous car, on statistics. Autonomous car, level 5 autonomies may have lower accidents rate than people's driving.
But is level 5 autonomy the highest level?
Yeah, it's the highest level. So it's fully autonomous. There's no pilot needed. There's not even a steering there.
There's no option.
There's no options for driving at all.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
So there's level 5 autonomies. And then if let's say statistically speaking is having a lower accident rate than normal humans, men driving. But let's say if accident happens in men driving, we know who is going to be responsible for that.
Yeah.
But in autonomous drive, when there's one accident that happens, the responsibilities is where it becomes a grey lines there.
Oh.
Yeah. Like who is going to be responsible? Is it the manufacturer?
Yes.
Or is it the coder that code the autonomous?
True, because it runs on code.
Yes. Or is it because of the drivers? My driver can't control it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it because of passengers now? Yeah.
Because it's important to determine that before we move forward.
Correct.
Because in the event of an accident, which we know is going to happen, somebody does need to take responsibility.
Yes, correct.
Oh, good question. Wow, that answer just opens more questions. All right. What's one tech buzzword you wish people would stop using?
Oh, this is disruptive.
Oh,
you see everywhere.
Disruptive, is it?
Everywhere disruptive, correct.
Okay.
Everywhere you see, disruptive technologies. The AI is disruptive. so my opinions, two things why I dislike this word. One is this is a negative word.
Yeah.
Why not constructive?
Oh, good point.
It could be constructive technologies that helps humans or help us to live a better life. Yeah. And second way is this word is being misused everywhere because in my opinions, every technology is disruptive to some sense.
Yeah.
Whether is it change your life completely or is it just to automatically switch on your wiper when there's raining.
Right.
It's disruptive to your life, right? Because there's one thing less that you need to care about.
Right. It's true. And using that word paints technology in a negative light.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, it makes you think about it as something that is going to
destroy your life, going to replace you.
Negative change.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you could take your students on a field trip anywhere in the world to see real innovation in action, where would you go and why?
Shenzhen.
Shenzhen, China, okay.
Yes, I have been there 2 years ago. And first of all, they have adopted the electric vehicles very widely. I asked the cab drivers and they say it's about 60 to 70% of their total vehicles are electric vehicles.
The majority.
The majorities, yes, more than the normal ICE vehicles. And another thing is that I feel amazed when I was in the hotel when I ordered some food delivery. And the one that delivered the food to my hotel room is a robot.
To the door.
To the rooms. I do see similar robots in Malaysia.
Right.
In the restaurants,
Yeah.
sometimes the robots go into the kitchens and then they just key in the table numbers and then they fetch up your food in front of your door. But they make it a bigger scale. They make it whole buildings. They
So the
integrate-
robot rides the lift,
Yes, correct.
rides the elevator.
Yeah, so I was
Okay.
very curious, as you know now. I actually followed the robots. so I went down all the way to the lobby and I
Right.
see. So the delivery man actually placed the food
Right.
on the robots on the tray, and then they key in the room numbers.
Right.
And then the robots will just navigate. They knows where's the lift.
Okay.
Navigates to the lift, and then the lift will opens up for them.
Okay.
And then when I go in, I was thinking, should I actually press the buttons for the robots? But
Right.
the robot has no hand. And the buttons automatically lights up to the floor that the robots wanted to go.
So the robot is wirelessly connected
Yeah,
to the grid, the system in the
Correct.
computer
So that-
in the hotel.
Yep. So that is one thing that I think is really crazy in China. They have integrated system. They not just only having a robot. They have robot integrated to their life already. Yep. So that's
I have
where
so many questions now.
you should go there.
How do I feel about this?
You should go there.
That, like, if I'm getting to the elevator and there's a robot with me with food,
And the robot will say hi to you.
it will
Really?
say, oh, it will know that I'm there.
Yep.
It can recognize a human.
They can recognize.
figure.
So when you go in, they'll say hi to you and they will apologize to you first in China. They apologize, say, oh, I might be blocking your way. Please give way to me later when the lift door opens.
Wow, that is great and scary at the same time. This dystopian future that we're talking about is already here. It
It's
seems.
already here.
It's already here, and it's only going to progress, right? It's
Yes.
going to progress fast. Do you think so?
Well, I would say it depends on the regulations
Right.
of the countries. Probably
Yeah.
China is pushing it very hard now.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. And this is a question we ask all of our guests actually. If you had the opportunity to make one change as Prime Minister of Malaysia for a day, what would it be and why?
I guess my answer would be similar to the previous one. I would make some changes in STEM educations, where it's going to take up some of the face-to-face learning hours.
Right.
And going to put in, definitely have to include visitations to local industry. Visitation not only to local industry, probably can also visitations to local communities.
Right.
Yep. So to see, to let students to actually understand that what the community actually needs currently today.
Right.
Yep.
Because sometimes we bring the world into the classroom, but sometimes you need to bring the
Bring the class
classroom
to the world.
out into the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
When you bring the world to the classroom, it's always outdated because you need to, you put in the classroom and every classroom you're going to run the same thing. And after 3 weeks, 4 weeks, after 1 month, it's going to be outdated.
Right. I need to go and find out now how I can get one of these robots to carry me around and I never have to walk again.
You have to check the rules and regulations first.
Right. Always important.
Yup.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, Dr. Phang. It has been very interesting and enlightening, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting. Thank you.
And we'll see you again in the next episode of Life Confessions here on Shock.